Hey there. All right. Here we go. Testing, testing. There we go. All right. Today, I'd like to talk about some of the teachings that are out there that I've seen that are harmful for people. I see that people are going towards these teachings. Well, people suffer. And it's only natural that they don't want to suffer, right? However, people will grasp for things like a drowning person grasps for things, trying to get anything that will give them a gulp of air, trying to find some way not to suffer the way they do. Can't blame anybody for that. I can't. Not me. But there's so many tricksters out there, and so many people that don't even know they're tricksters out there, trying to sell you a magic show, trying to sell you the quick fix, the easy way. And I'm here to tell you that the quick fix, the easy way, is not the way. That it takes effort to change. It takes effort to try to change our views, to steer away from delusion, and in that go ahead and steer ourselves away from suffering and towards truth, universal truth, not just what we might perceive things as. I'd like to talk about, in specific, three particular gurus, and I've got to tip my hat to Osho and Adyashanti for being some slick individuals. And I think both of them believed their own stuff a little bit during part of their career. Adyashanti, of course, you may not know, comes from a background of selling used cars with his father. And he found something else to sell, in that he found a way to sell some Zen teachings. And as he went on, he changed what he was teaching until he came to something where he didn't have to be held accountable for knowing anything, and yet he could get people to pay for teaching them. Pretty interesting. And the same thing goes for Osho and Sadhguru. Although all three of them, I am pretty darn sure, knew half of what they're selling is just horse pucky. You know, they'll say they'll teach you things that are quick fixes, a quick feel good, to try to get a little relief from suffering. And I'm not saying you shouldn't try to get relief from suffering, but there should be a lasting effect. You should actually be able to change your life. And don't get me wrong, these three gurus don't sell just crap. They also sell a little bit of truth in there. If there wasn't a little bit of truth mixed in there, believe me, they wouldn't be able to keep selling this to people. All of those gurus out there. They, in particular, I guess I'll start with Adyashanti there, or Adya, as some of them like to call him, some of his followers. He gets people out on these retreats, and he himself admits he likes to break down a person in order to try to teach them. And I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be breaking people down in order to teach them. That's awful. But he breaks them down. He makes them question absolutely everything. And then he tells them things like there's no point in knowing things, and there's no such thing as truth. And even though he quite often tells people what enlightenment is, he himself says he doesn't know what enlightenment is. He's not sure he knows what enlightenment is, and he doesn't claim to have reached any enlightenment. Of course, if he did, it'd be pretty difficult for him. That's why nobody since Buddha has been running around the world as a popular teacher claiming that they've reached enlightenment. It's a very high bar. And even if you were to reach enlightenment, how many people would believe you anyway? Do I claim to have reached enlightenment? Sure. Do I think anybody should believe me because of it? No. When the topic comes up, I'll say something. But I mean, other than that, just doesn't matter. Things are real or not, they're true or not. You shouldn't have to have a guru. The truth should stand on its own. And it's everywhere. And all religions try to point towards this. So it's not hidden. It's not secret. It's right there in our faces. But these gurus try to make it mystical. And try to sell you that quick fix. Adya is really sly. I gotta tip my hat, if I were to have a hat, to him for being as slick as he is. He is super slick. Super slick. I believe I have even chatted with him directly, although he used a different name. And I could be wrong, but I don't think any of his followers know all of his materials that well that they could really impersonate him. Anyway, he couldn't debate factually with me, of course. And so, he uses the normal tactics where, you just don't understand. You don't necessarily belong here. Your mind isn't open. You're just not ready. I mean, I could go on and on, but there's general tactics these people use when you confront them with the truth, with factual knowledge of what the truth is, universal truth. And they do, like I said, put a little bit of actual truth in it. So, not everything they sell is crap. I'm not saying that studying what these people are teaching is going to necessarily damage you. But you should be a skeptic. You should be a skeptic the same with all these people. There is no trusted source. There is no trusted source that you should just believe. No such thing. You go with Sadhguru, he's pretty much followed in the steps of Osho. I mentioned him, but really Osho is the other slick person I've got to metaphorically tip my hat to. Much more successful than Adyashanti. He's dead, and he has this whole business that goes on with his teachings, getting money with those teachings. It's a whole empire. And, what can I say? People don't want to help you and take your money away in return for that help. And, Osho's guys have understood this, and they got caught a few times with their hand in the cookie jar. And what they've done is they've said they're doing these charity things. And so they'll even sometimes do just a little and then just pocket all the rest of the money. So it's awful to see things go that way. Osho himself didn't really have anything to teach. So he pretty much just said what everybody wanted to hear. And anytime there was discrepancies, things that didn't make sense, his followers got together and tried to make sense of it and came up with the best possible answer and talked to him about it. And so he got his his next generation of his teaching, until finally he got, a bunch of teaching together that was something people really wanted to hear. They wanted to hear that they can just let go, uh, that there's really no point in trying to reach enlightenment, that there's no point in knowledge, that there's no such thing as enlightenment. Um, I mean, I could go on about these things, but really what I want to impress on you is anything that wants to give you a quick fix or a quick feel good, or is dependent on meditation, and that's where everything happens, is meditation. Or there are these teachings where they want to do the primal scream or anger or outburst as to make you feel good, to they say get it out of your system. Certainly harmful. You're not gonna get rid of anger and all of these horrible things that have built up inside you, except for a small release, a release that will feel good. But this is not a way to do anything. Not a way to solve anything. That's enough, Duchess. Duchess, the good dog there, wants to warn me when anything goes on. Anyway, like I was saying, they also have laugh therapy, laugh yoga, where you might know, but you might not know. If you force yourself to smile and keep smiling, your brain doesn't know any better and interprets this that you must be happy about something, and it releases chemicals. The same thing with laughter, even more so with laughter. Laughing will make your brain release these chemicals. You're getting yourself high. Both of these are getting yourself high. And what teacher is telling you to get high to solve your problems? Not a real teacher. Certainly not one that's teaching you something wise, productive, and good for everything in that teaching. So I want you to be aware. A lot of these things sound very pleasing to the ear, and they may be poetic, but you need to be very skeptical. You need to be able to test these teachings, test them and test them to see that you can prove them. After you can prove them, only then you practice them in life. And you practice them in life, and then after that, that practice should show you they're productive, they're wise, they're good for everybody. If it doesn't, I don't think you should accept it. If it does, I think you'd do well to accept it. Now, I'm not saying you need to know how everything works. Most things, obviously, you should know how they work if you're going to try to test them and practice them. Some things, not necessarily. A thing can be true and you don't really know how it works, but you can test it that it works. You can test it. Yeah, there's a factual basis. And that's what we're looking for here when we're looking for long-term growth and well-being. When we're going to wash that gold. And Buddha has a sutta about washing the gold. I think it's called washing the gold. And people get confused about this. They're saying, well, you're already Buddha. No, you're not. This particular sutta I'm mentioning, washing the gold, you're refining the good stuff that you have within you and letting that nature work, your nature that's good. It's not that there's this other stuff that's filth that's not you that you're washing out. That's you too. Yeah. You're not just some perfect Buddha. Most of us in this world, most people are a whole lot of noxious crap and a little bit of gold. And to get that gold, purified, they got to wash it and wash it and wash it again. And when they've washed it till it can't even really be washed anymore, only then can they make the real gold out of it and it become useful as a tool to form into a tool. So once again, these teachings where everything's easy and you just make everything hard for yourself, and so you should just be like dead grass in the wind and blow whichever way it goes. No, please no. I care too much about all of you for you to keep doing that, and that's why I'm saying all this. Now, I want to say, I'm not saying you should be tainted against everything Adyashanti or Osho or Sadhguru have said. I'm not saying pay no attention to them. I'm not saying they're awful, evil people or were awful, evil people. I'm saying be a skeptic. And I'm saying these are things that you can watch out for, these particular methods, which I've seen these people use. I'm going to close with the fact that people who want to help you don't want to charge you for that help. Someone wants to sell you a book because they want to help you. Really? Are they giving it to you at cost if it's paper? Are they putting it on the internet for people to download for free? I mean, honestly free, that they'll own it forever? It's theirs. They don't need a special program like the Kindle or the Apple Store or any piece of software to read it. That they'll just give you the file, the PDF, let you have it. It's something to think about. I hope that in your life that the truth will keep removing delusion the way light removes darkness. I care about each and every one of you, and that's why I mention these things. I'm not trying to be negative. I really just, I see a harm and I see people fall into a trap again and again. I can't help but say, hey, watch out for that. Blessings to all of you. Thank you for having a listen today. This is R A Manard, Mitra Yah, for Monks of the Way.